And across the country via the Schrock desk, this is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, like the big voice man said there. 4 locations to help you out when your computer's having trouble, or if your hard drive stops working and you need to get the data back off of it. We have the fully equipped data recovery lab in our Omaha service center. New computers. This month has been really surprising in the demand for new computers. Part of that is the closure of the Best Buy in Papillion. Our Papillion service center is selling a lot more computers than previous years. But it's been across the board. We've just been seeing kind of an uptick in the number of people choosing to purchase computers from us rather than a box store. And I'm sure the box stores haven't noticed. I mean, they're probably like, "Hey, we sold like 4 less computers today," you know. But at Schrock, we're noticing, and so we appreciate all of you that are choosing to bring your business over and shop local at Schrock Innovations. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program. 888-250-2091, local at 402-558-1110 if you prefer. Either way, gets you through, and you can qualify to win a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. All you have to do is ask a question, make a comment, be a part of the program, and we'll get you in the drawing there for that. Now, we are also broadcasting live at Facebook, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. You can watch the show there. If you prefer to watch your radio, you can do that there. And I will try to stay current on the comments so that I can make sure that people in Schrockville are getting their attention that they deserve as well. All righty. So if you missed the show last week, you can always pick the show up on our website at SchrockInnovations.com, as well as your favorite podcasting services. Completely up to you, whichever you would prefer. Last week, if you missed it, it was a good one. You definitely want to look it up. We talked to you about the difference between ChatGPT and Bing AI, and I gave you an example. For those of you who think that AI is about to take over the world, all you have to do is listen to the opener for last week's show. I mean, the Bing AI is truly awful. It hung up on me because I pointed out it was wrong, and it was like, I don't want to continue this conversation now. Bye, and it left. So if you think AI is going to be an issue, we're not quite there yet. We also reminded you how to stay safe on open public Wi-Fi routers. This is going to be really important as you travel this summer. Hotels, airports, coffee shops, restaurants, things like that. It's okay to use the public Wi-Fi, but you just have to be smart in how you use it to keep yourself safe. We covered those tips for you. We also laid out some of the reasons that you should move to Windows 11 as soon as you can. A couple of them include Microsoft is no longer issuing any feature upgrades for Windows 10, which means the Windows 10 you have now is the Windows 10 that you'll have until the end in 2025. Whereas Windows 11 will continue to get new features and security enhancements to keep it safe against the evolving threatscape. Now, most of the time, guys, when I tell you the evolving threatscape, it sounds like a bunch of buzzwords. It's like a word salad, if you will. Well, right now, that threatscape, the threats that are out there, are being augmented by artificial intelligence. So now the Nigerian prince doesn't need to try to write in English to convince you to give over your bank information so he can deposit an inordinate sum of money from an inheritance into your account, even though you have no relatives in Nigeria. Now he can have ChatGPT write those for you, and they're actually kind of convincing. So you might actually believe you have a relative in Nigeria because ChatGPT, and that's just the baseline integration. More advanced integrations, when you have someone like me, for example, there's a lot of me talking on the internet. Every week we do all the radio and stuff, lots of me talking out there every single week. They can take that audio and they can use it to model an AI after my voice. And they could call my family using my voice on the phone and scam my own family. Oh, I'm in trouble. I'm in jail. I need bail money. Can you wire me some money? My wife would be like, no, what'd you do? 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091 are the numbers to join us on the program. So if you missed the shows last week, guys, check it out, SchrockInnovations.com. Just click on radio show there. Coming up on the program today, we got some leftover holiday special items that we kind of didn't know we had until we kind of made sure that they weren't for anybody, and now we're like, okay, well, we have these things left over. We're going to talk about those. They're up on the website under the specials section at schrockinnovations.com if you want to check that out. We're going to tell you how to save some money by upgrading your computer rather than buying a new one. This is kind of counterintuitive. You wouldn't think that, Schrock Innovations would be telling you, hey, you shouldn't buy a computer. You should upgrade the one you've got. But in all seriousness, it will save you quite a bit of money to do an upgrade on a computer to make it run Windows 11 rather than just buying a new computer because you can't run Windows 11. So we're going to talk to you about that on the program today. Also, a little bit on online scams. This is there's a lot of people who are getting scammed on the internet right now. And as I mentioned, it's only going to get more, convincing because of AI and everything that's going on with it. So basically, what we want to do for you today is give you some tips on how you can avoid getting scammed by paying attention to what's going on around you when you're on the internet, and also how you can help family members, because a lot of times the people who are getting scammed, they aren't you, they aren't me, they're the elderly among us, our grandparents, our moms and our dads that are getting scammed by people online because they get a phone call that says, oh no, somebody's in trouble and we need a money pack, or we need an Amazon gift card. I go through Hy-Vee all the time and I buy lots of Amazon gift cards there because I order a lot of stuff on Amazon, and I may as well get the fuel saver, right? Because they give you a quarter or a nickel for every $25 you spend, so you can get a lot of free gas if you spend your gift cards wisely. They were telling me at the cashier's lane the other day that they're cracking down a little bit. They know who I am, so they're not going to crack down on me. But they had somebody who got scammed for $6,000 in Amazon gift cards last week. Could you imagine your mom or your dad calling you and saying they lost $6,000 to a scammer for Amazon gift cards? And who is the person that sold like the 80-year-old woman $6,000 of Amazon gift cards? For real? What is she buying on Amazon for $6,000? A new knitting set? I have no idea. Why would you sell her that? I don't know. But anyway, we're going to give you some tips on how to keep your family safe. Also, if you're fearful of AI disinformation, Google's got a tool for that. And we're going to tell you about their new tool that'll help you detect fake images in artificial intelligence. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. Let's jump into those phones real quick. Craig, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Good morning, Thor.
Good morning.
My name is Craig, and I spoke to you, it's probably been a couple months ago. I caught one of your radio shows a week or two ago where you were talking about the USB data blocker. And I called the Papillion shop the other day and spoke with Marissa. And she goes, oh, yeah, I'll just shoot up a text or an email to Thor and get his response back on what that was actually called. I was shocked that, number one, that she would contact you directly, and I did hear back the same day. So first of all, thank you for that.
No sweat. She asked me that, and when I told her what it was called, she said, for real, is that what it's called? And I sent her a link to the article. Yes, it's called a USB condom. Like,
that's exactly right. And I'm like, well, I don't want to say that, so I better not say that.
Well, it's good. It's good radio. Everyone's like, oh, it's Sunday morning. You can't say condom.
Exactly. Okay, now here's my question for you.
Sure.
So we're getting ready to go out of the country, and I know that nowadays you can go and you can go online. You don't need a physical SIM card for the different countries you're going to. You can somehow get these ones online. Well, I started doing a little research, and I came across this app called the Dent app.
Okay.
I didn't know if you are familiar with it at all, or it sounded like you could download the app and check it. Well, you have to see if your phone's compatible. You can go to this marketplace and actually buy data. Is that legit?
Boy, I am not familiar with the Dent app. I can take a look into that. Regarding the SIMs and eSIMs, though, newer phones, like the current gen iPhone that just came out, supports a new technology called eSIM. And so, and most of your higher end Android phones now do too. But eSIMs replace the need to have a physical SIM card at all in your device. It's an electronic SIM. And so which is kind of silly. I mean, we're still using SIM cards, and it's like we need a little SD card to stick into our phone so it knows what phone network to use. Really, we can't program that on a chip inside the phone now. But and so that's what it does. That's what an eSIM is. So it allows you to load multiple SIM cards if you wanted to, or change your SIM cards depending on where you're going to be and what you're going to be doing. Now, one thing I will warn about, my experience with this is that the representatives, at least at T-Mobile, don't have a whole lot of experience working with them yet. And so as a result, you may have some activation issues if you screw around with your SIM or your eSIM, if you will. But on the flip side, I also know that they're no longer issuing SIM cards for situations like this. They're encouraging you to use the eSIM. So that's probably what you're going to be stuck with if you decide to try to use the phone overseas. The other thing is a lot of people discount this, but you can get a lot of third-party messaging apps. For example, there's a great one called Signal. We use it at Schrock. All of our employees have it on their phones. And we use it because it's encrypted end to end. So if Marissa needs to ask me, confidential stuff about a customer or data or an employee stuff or something like that, for example, she can send me a message and it's encrypted from end to end. Nobody else can read that message but the two of us, which allows us to communicate much more efficiently. And you can also do end-to-end encrypted video and audio calls as well. And so if you get something like Signal on your phone, as long as you have a Wi-Fi connection where you're at, it's as if you have a regular cell phone.
Nice.
Yeah,
okay.
So it works out really well.
Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you for the info. I'm grateful.
No sweat, Craig. Thank you for calling. I appreciate you joining us on the program this morning. 888-250-2091 and local at 402-558-1110. Those are the numbers to join us on the show today. So in the service centers, guys, we've got some leftover holiday special monitors. This sounds kind of weird, but somehow we ended up with 6 extra monitors. I think what happened was we ordered enough monitors for the holiday specials that we sold, and then some customers upgraded to 27-inch monitors. And so we were left with some of these 23-inch monitors. Now, these are the 23-inch monitors that have the built-in webcam on top. They have the USB ports, and I mean, it's the blue light, the easy eye stuff. This is a business-grade monitor. At the time, these were selling for $299 a piece, so they're expensive monitors. But we are selling them for $169. We're blowing them out, getting rid of them. We have 6, and we have them spread between the service centers right now, so there's a couple in each service center. So if you're looking for a monitor for your computer and you're looking for something that's kind of a cut above what you would normally get, and the webcam isn't a fixed thing on top of the computer, like the ones you just kind of hang on your screen and it just sits there. This webcam can turn left and right 180 degrees. It can pitch up and down, and it has stereo microphone built into it. It's a really, really nice monitor. It was the holiday special monitor. We just have a few extra of them, and they don't really fit with what we're doing in the shop. And of course, by next year there'll be a new monitor out, so we can't just save them for next year. So we said, you know what? Let's blow them out. Let's get rid of them. They're available in the service centers. All you have to do is give us a call in any of the shops, and we can get you hooked up with one if that's something that you think you would like to have for your home. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. And of course, any call or question gets you entered into the drawing to win a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. We're going to take a quick break here, guys. When we come back, how to save some money by upgrading your computer rather than replacing it. It can be, even for those people who have been told their computer cannot run Windows 11, now there's an upgrade path for you that you might be able to use, and we'll tell you about it coming up next on Compute This.
Update all of your third-party apps on your computer with Secure Updater. It keeps all your apps running smoothly and helps block viruses. Download it for free today at secureupdater.com. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive.
Compute This Pro Tip 578.
Technology is constantly changing, so how can you tell when the time has come to recycle your old outdated computer and invest in a new one? Experts have rules of thumb and formulas, but Schrock believes the answer is simple. You should replace your old computer when it can no longer do the things you need in a secure way. For example, you should not be using operating systems like Windows XP or Vista because they're no longer maintained by Microsoft and they're not secure. And if your computer cannot run Windows 10, it's probably time to begin saving for a replacement. If your existing computer requires a repair and that cost is 50% or more of the cost of a new computer, it might be time to consider a replacement. But keep in mind, additional costs like data transfers and important software you have to upgrade like genealogy software or Quicken. And also keep in mind that modern computers are engineered to last 18 months for a normal user. And don't worry, you are considered a normal user. Schrock modular PCs and solid-state laptops are specifically designed to last 4 to 6 years for that same normal user, saving your family money and time. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Wow, the bumper music is feisty this morning. I like it. Welcome back into Compute This, guys. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, where we fix computers, we build computers, we help you get the software that you have to run on your computers. We make your printer print. We make your router route. We make your Wi-Fi fi. I mean, it's amazing what we do over at Schrock. And we do it all with 4 locations to support you in Omaha, Lincoln, Papillion, as well as West Des Moines, Iowa. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091 if you're outside the local listening area. Quick program note, there will not be an Aftershock this week or next week. So this week and next week, this week I got a Mother's Day thing, so I'm not doing it today, and next week I'm on vacation. So no Aftershock for the next 2 weeks, but I promise you I'm going to give you a really long one when I get back, and I'll have lots of cool stories to talk about, because the thing that happens when I go on a vacation is it takes me like 2 or 3 days to get work out of my head. And then all of a sudden when I'm back, it's just like, oh my gosh, Thor's back from vacation. Everybody just says, oh, I'm going to take the day off today because the requests for stuff are inbound. All right. Well, speaking for requests for stuff, we all like to save money right now, especially right now. Who likes to save? We like to save money all the time, but right now, especially given all the inflation and everything that's going on, when you have the chance to save a few bucks, you typically take it. And a lot of us have changed the way we do things to save that money. You know, I know myself, for example, I've kind of stopped ordering sodas when I go out to eat. I mean, it sounds stupid, but I mean, it's like $2 a meal for a soda now. You know, we go to the movie theater now, and maybe I don't get 2 things, I just get 1 thing. You know, everybody is kind of dealing with this in the way that they do, you know, eating at home a little bit more, making sure that maybe we're going to save those leftovers rather than toss them, kind of thing. So everyone's dealing with this in their own way, and your technology is no different. So at Schrock Innovations, our focus is service, and we understand you can't be a low-cost leader and a high-service provider because you'll go broke. It is good service costs money to produce. It's expensive. You have to hire better people. When you have a situation with an employee, for example, in a service center where you know, they're not performing up to your expectations and you have to let that person go, well, then you've got to deal with that turnover. There's a cost involved with having a high level of service. That doesn't mean, however, that everything has to be more expensive. There are ways that you can save money when you're looking to upgrade your computer so that you can continue to use the same computer you have now going forward after Windows 10 expires. We're going to tell you how to do that coming up here in just a moment. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. Greg, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Thanks for taking my call.
No sweat.
Hey, I own a small business, and I got an email from Google, or it was through Google, that basically says a person is requesting to be listed as an owner of my, I won't say my name, of my business. And then it has the details. Her name wants to be added as a business owner. Mm-hmm. Phone number gives her name again, and then it gives her email address. I have no idea what this is.
All right, have you registered your business with Google? Like, do you have a Google Places page?
Well, I get 1,000 calls a day saying my thing's not up to date, but people tell me all the time they find my business through Google.
Gotcha. Well, the calls you get, those are scams. This could be a scam as well, basically to get you to call or take an action, and then they can say, oh, well, let's look at it this way. So Google Places pages are free. They are incredibly important for small businesses to have. And this is one of the things that Jeff, our Schrock business coordinator at Schrock, can help with quite a bit, because they're completely free. And there are specific things that you need to do on that page in order to maximize the results you get. So the people that are calling you aren't wrong that there are things that you need to do with your Google business page. For example, one of the things we're doing right now is we're doing video tours inside the service center and posting those, because Google got a wild hair up its rear end that it wants to have a video on your Places page. And we're like, well, great. Now we need to put a video up there. Yep. And it doesn't matter what the video is. It's got to be a video, and you'll get ranked higher over your competition if you have a video. So that it's a dumb thing. So there are things that you need to do with your Google Places page to keep it current. But the most important thing is to make sure that you have that Places page, that you already own that, so nobody else can try to claim it. And then when you get emails like this about people trying to claim it, you can just disregard them as spam, which this probably was.
Well, those calls I get isn't the end result they try to sell you something?
Oh, absolutely. They're like, oh, this is Shashib with Google. Like, no, it's not. And it's like, we're a Google authorized provider. Okay, well, you and a lot of other people are Google AdSense authorized providers. So basically what it is it's somebody trying to sell you web optimization services is what it amounts to. And
you can do that through your location.
Oh, absolutely.
Get me up to date or whatever.
We can totally help you out with that. We can find out if you have if you have your location reserved. We can figure that out. If you have access to it, then we can get access. We can help you fill in the blanks and get everything taken care of. There's a lot that we do at Schrock Business for local small businesses. Typically 25 computers or less. Once you go over that, it gets a little choppy as to whether or not we're a good fit for you, because our services are very much specialized on micro businesses and small businesses. People just like you, Greg.
Do I do it from the Schrock desk?
We can actually. In fact, the guy you want to talk to, his name is Jeff. He's my director of Schrock Business. He's the guy that runs our business division for business clients. And Greg, I'd be remiss if I didn't let you do it. What's the name of your business?
Millard Vacuum.
There we go. All right. So basically then get a hold of Jeff, and then also I think I've got your number here too, Greg. I can have Jeff give you a call on Monday, and then he can sit down with you and over the Schrock desk, basically sit down and figure out if you have your Google Places page there, and kind of go through the basics with you to make sure you got all the blanks filled in.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Hey, thank you for the call, Greg.
3 days waiting for this day to call you.
Well, the time has come, Greg, and I appreciate you joining us on the program. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. All right, so really quickly, we have customers who have been told by us or by other people that their computers cannot be upgraded to Windows 11. If you have like a Dell or an HP or something like that, and it's a 7th gen or older processor, you're out of luck. There's nothing you can do. But if you have a modular computer, one that we built, or a custom computer from another computer shop that you had built somewhere else, you may be able to upgrade that computer. We call it a core upgrade. What we do is we replace the main motherboard inside the computer, the memory, and the processor. And when we do those three things together, that's like the core of the computer, the main guts. We replace that, you're getting to reuse your case, your power supply, all of your drives, like your DVD drives, your hard drives, all that stuff. You don't have to buy any of that again, and it saves you an amazing amount of money over the cost of buying a new computer. So if you have a computer that was built for you or was purchased from, not like a Dell, not a big box store computer, a Dell or an HP or something like that, those are so customized that there isn't really any way to do a core upgrade on them, because the motherboards don't fit in the cases and the compatibility issues, and it's a big mess. But if you have one that was built for you or purchased locally that's not a brand name, like not one of the big brand names, it's very, very likely we can do a core upgrade for you and save you a lot of money. So if you're looking to get your computer upgraded to Windows 11 so you can take advantage of all those new features, give us a call over at Schrock Innovations. First hour of labor is free for new customers. Could save you $125 off that on top of the regular savings for upgrading instead of buying new. Check it out. Any of our service centers, 4 locations to help you out: Omaha, Lincoln, Papillion, and West Des Moines, Iowa. 888-250-2091. We're going to take a quick break, guys. Bottom of the hour here. When we come back, Kathy and Don, your calls are coming up next on Compute This.
Now you can configure and purchase laptops, desktops, tablets, and more, all at the new SchrockInnovations.com. Check out our specials for one-of-a-kind discounts and deals.
Remember the good old days when virus detection worked like Where's Waldo? Spot the virus in the striped shirt and you win. Today's infections are changing hourly to avoid detection and use social engineering to trick you into making mistakes. Using yesterday's security to defend against today's threats is like using leeches to stop an infection. It just doesn't work. We recommend Sophos Intercept X, antivirus backed by Schrock's virus-free guarantee. Sophos uses the power of AI to detect the patterns of a virus attack and responds with Schrock's custom actions that stop it fast. With Sophos on your PC, Mac, Android, or iOS device, you get the state-of-the-art protection you need to defend against the most advanced attacks out there. In fact, if your device gets a virus while running Sophos antivirus, Schrock will remove it for free, guaranteed. It hasn't happened yet, and we intend to keep it that way. Ditch your dad's antivirus and keep your device, data, and identity safe with Sophos and Schrock Innovations.
Compute This Pro Tip 178. Those little life-saving surge protector strips are vital to your computer's health and should be used whenever possible, even for laptops. As computers get smaller and more powerful, they're also becoming more sensitive to dirty power, and your power is a lot dirtier than you might think. Even if you have a whole home surge protection, most power surges are generated within your own home. If you've ever vacuumed and seen the lights get dimmer and brighter, you created a surge. Surge protectors can only absorb so much energy measured in joules. When that capacity is exhausted, your surge protector becomes a glorified extension cord and needs to be replaced. You should always look for surge protectors that give audible alerts when they're no longer able to protect your equipment. Schrock recommends these because the lights on most strips are just power lights and they don't tell you when it's time to replace the unit. If in doubt, replace your surge protectors annually to keep your expensive TVs, computers, and other electronic equipment safe. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
All right, got to wait for it now. We're this far in. There you go. All right. Welcome back, guys. You're listening to Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Woohoo, all that. We're here to answer your questions and help you out, give you some information, maybe a little entertainment here on the radio as well. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. Coming up on the program here, how to avoid online scammers, especially for the elderly, because that's the population that seems to get targeted more than anybody else, and we're going to give you some tips, not only on how to handle it, but how to respond to it if it does happen. So stay tuned for that one. But before we go to that, Kathy, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Oh, hi, Thor. Yes, I just have a simple question. How do I know if I need a new power cord? I've had my computer through you for over 10 years and have excellent service, and my keep getting the black screen of death, and I've had Cox Sound check my modem, my Wi-Fi, and they couldn't figure it out. So one day I unplugged the cord from the back of my computer and plugged it back in, and I got it working.
Gotcha. So do you have a desktop or a laptop?
Desktop.
Okay. So the power cord on the back of your computer is literally a wire. So it can't, unless you have a cat, it can't break.
Oh, okay.
I've seen that happen before. Hey, little frisky. It's a little shock. But they like to chew on those fat gummy cords. But basically, so the cord can't break. When you unplug the back of your desktop and you plug it back in again like that, and it suddenly just works, what you've done is you've power cycled your power supply. So this, if you have a Dell or an HP and you call for support, they're like, "Have you tried turning it off and on again?" That's essentially what you just did, and that's that basically buys you time. And so in the case of a Dell or an HP or a Toshiba or something like that, they're trying to buy you enough time to get you out of the warranty. In the case of real world service, what is happening is the power supply in your computer is starting to fail. That's the box that provides power to everything. So when you unplug it and plug it back in, and you're draining it all the way down, and then you're charging it back up again, and it's like, okay, I can work for a while, and then eventually the problem is going to repeat. It's going to happen again, and then eventually it's going to become more frequent. And a lot of people say, well, I can tolerate this for a while. I can unplug and plug. The thing is, though, it's sending the wrong voltages to the parts inside the computer, so it can actually damage the motherboard or the hard drives inside the computer. So this is why during a maintenance checkup, for example, one of the things we test is the power supply. We actually have a little tester that we plug everything into, and it measures all the voltages just to make sure that everything is working the way it's supposed to. So I would suggest, if you haven't had a maintenance checkup recently, or maybe you have a prepaid certificate, maybe?
I do.
Perfect. Right now is a great time to come in. It's kind of weird because we're supposed to be slow this time of year. We are slower than we were, but we're by no means as slow as we should be, which makes me terrified for next month.
Okay.
But no, it's a great time to come on in with that maintenance certificate. Let us test everything, because maybe you just had a glitch and you had to unplug it and plug it in, drain it and recharge it, and everything tests fine now. That does happen too. But if it's happened more than one time, then it's probably a power supply that needs to be replaced, and we can get that taken care of before it causes any additional damage to the stuff inside the computer.
Okay, I will bring it in and use my maintenance check.
There you go. There you go. That's what we want to hear. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you joining us on the program today. Don, welcome to the show. How can I help you uncompute this?
Yes, Thor. Last Sunday, I lost access to my LibreOffice function.
Okay.
And I called the Yamaha office, and I can't say enough for Liam, I think the man's name is, your boy out there at the Yamaha store. Very patiently, very thoroughly led me through the process to get reestablished in my LibreOffice.
Oh my gosh, that is so good to hear. Thank you, Don. I really appreciate that. He is actually one of our youngest technicians. He literally, I think he's been on the job for maybe 40 days.
Oh my!
So yeah, I mean he's one of our youngest guys, and it always warms my heart. I hear about all the bad things that happen, and just yesterday we had not everybody is cut out to deliver service, and so yesterday we had to let somebody go because while they were a great person and they were doing good work, they just weren't giving our customers the experience that we wanted them to have. So when I hear that people are doing a great job, you guys have no idea how that warms my heart. It makes me feel so much more confident in what we're doing because my people are delivering what you need. So thank you for taking the time to call, Don. I really appreciate it.
He's a real asset to your company. He's really patient, very knowledgeable, and certainly recommend your company.
Well, you know what? One of the things I tell all the new hires when they start is that every week they should listen to the radio show, because what's going to happen is people call in on Sunday. All right, so you guys, let's mess with everybody. So today, call the service centers and say that you want the GOAT special. It's the Billy Goat special, and no one will have any idea because there is no such thing. I just made that up. And if my guys listen to the show and see, it's not like I'm asking them to get up at 7 a.m. on a Sunday. All they can listen it's on Facebook, it's on the Schrock website. You can listen anywhere. You know, listen anytime you want. My operations manager listens before the shop opens at noon on Sunday. So I mean, come on, you can listen to. So if you guys call in and ask for the Billy Goat special and they don't know what you're talking about, then you can say, you're supposed to listen to the radio show. And that'll be so funny if we had like a dozen people call in and say, I need the Billy Goat special. And they say, I don't know what that is. And then they say, well, you need to listen to the radio show then. I'm going to get so many texts this morning like, what is the Billy Goat special? Oh, my gosh. Thank you for the call, Don. I appreciate you joining us on the program today. All righty, guys. 888-250-2091 and locally 402-558-1110. How can you avoid some of these online scams? Every single time they come out, they're getting more and more sophisticated. They're starting to use AI now. You know, it used to be you get the call from the Microsoft guy. This is Billy from Microsoft, and your IP address is infected. And they would talk to you and try to talk you into, letting you into the computer. And when my dad was alive, they almost scammed him. And I mean, he's my dad. They call him up and they said, hey, your computer has an issue and we need to remote in and take a look at it. Well, my dad, for whatever reason, thought that Alfonso, because the guy had an accent, so he just thought he was Alfonso, my Venezuelan guy. They're calling him up to work on his computer because, Alfonso, he's a software engineer. He calls up people all the time just to look into their computer and make sure things are fine. No, he doesn't. He's a hammer. He's an expensive hammer, and you use him to knock out big problems. And my dad's computer is not a big problem. I would not task Alfonso on that, but that's beside the point. So he thinks it's Alfonso, so he says, "Are you with Schrock?" And the scammer says, "Well, of course, yes, I am." And boom. He's trying to remote into the computer, My dad actually calls me and says, "Son, whoever, this Alfonso guy, he's no good." I'm like, "What do you mean he's no good, Dad?" And he says, he's been trying to remote into my computer for like 2 hours and he just cannot get it to work. I'm like, "Whoa, wait, what?" And that was my warning bell when I'm like, something's not right. Well, the reason he couldn't get into the computer is because my dad was running Sophos on the computer, and Sophos will block remote access attempts. So one of the first things, honestly, the easiest thing to do, guys, if you want to try to keep your mom or your dad or somebody safe from these kind of scams, if you stop the bad guys from being able to remote into the computer, they can never reach that point where they've delivered a fake service to get money. You get money back from people. So if we stop the remote access, we stop the whole thing. And as a result, Sophos blocks all remote access software except for the Schrock desk. Now, if you're in a situation where you do remote work or you had to remote into the computer or somebody else has to remote in, we can set it up so it's allowed for you if you have Sophos. But the default setting for everybody is that nothing can remote into this computer anymore unless Schrock says it can remote into it. And it's not to hold you hostage to us. You can walk away from us anytime. We'll shake your hand as you go and tell you thank you for your business. So it's not a we'll hold you hostage kind of thing. It's more of a we want to make sure you're protected thing. So a lot of times the scammers, then the next step will be they'll try to talk you into uninstalling your antivirus because your antivirus is stopping them from using their tools to clean you up. And obviously, if you're infected, as they claim, your antivirus is doing a poor job anyway. So let's just get it out of the way. That's why if you try to uninstall Sophos, it asks you for an uninstall code that you have to call us to get. And if you call us and say, "I want the uninstall code for Sophos," and we're like, "Uh-oh, something went wrong here, right?" And we look and we go, "You got like 7 months left on your subscription, dude. Are you sure you want to do that? You paid for it." And he's like, "Well, I'll reinstall it. I just need to get it off for a little bit while the guys remote in and fix my IP address infection." Okay. See how we stopped it there again? Now, that's if you have Sophos. What if you don't have Sophos? What if you don't, or your mom doesn't, or your dad doesn't? How do you keep them safe? Well, some training things. Number one, it's really sad. I hate to say this, but one of the fastest growing scams for elderly people is romance scams. I know we don't want to talk about that, guys. Mom, really? Do we got to talk about that? No, but romance scams are on the uptake, especially among the elderly online. Basically, somebody kindles an online relationship between, your mom and somebody else, and then all of a sudden they're asking for money. They refuse to meet in person. They're distant geographically, or they're busy, or they can't do it, but they end up wanting money at the end. So that's one of the warning signs to watch out for. Is anytime that somebody asks you for money from an online relationship, that's definitely a warning sign. Another warning sign is that scammers will want you to act immediately. Act now. This is urgent. We must move now. Someone is in jail and needs to be bailed out. Somebody is lost in Mexico and needs to have a ransom paid. Those are the kind of things. You think that doesn't happen to you? I literally had an employee leave the office in tears this week because her sister disappeared in Mexico. I am not joking. A lot of life choices had to go wrong for that to happen. Turns out she ran off with a boy. They found her. She's safe. But all the same, it happens, guys. And so you get these stories and you're like, oh my gosh, don't send money. Don't act now. There's never something that is so urgent that you can't wait and think about it for an afternoon. When we call you and tell you what you need to have done with your computer, if she comes in with that computer with the power supply and we tell her it needs a new power supply, she says, I'd like to think about it for the afternoon. We're not going to give her a hard time. Yeah, absolutely. Take your time. We'll keep it here. As long as it doesn't stay here more than 30 days, we're fine. If we set it down, we'll leave it alone. You can take it back while you think about it. Whatever you want to do. If it's going to have a bad power supply later too. So anybody who's pushing you to act now, to act immediately, that's usually a warning sign that there's some kind of a scam involved. Now, the third warning sign that you want to look for is some kind of huge problem or conversely a huge reward. So act quickly to prevent a major problem or to get a huge reward. Or a longer term situation like a romance scam, the big problem comes up 2 or 3 weeks after you've been communicating with this person and they have some kind of a major situation and they need help. Their kid is sick. Their dog needs an operation and they just need like $100 or something. And so you send them $100. And then, okay, now we got our mark. And then the demands increase. Oh, no, it was way worse than they thought. And they're going to have to amputate the whole hindquarters. It's going to be like $1,000 now. And the numbers just keep going up. And they milk this person for as much money as they can get because the problems are so big. And they're really tugging at your heartstrings because you care about this person. You've been talking with them for a while. Maybe they have, treated you nicely or said nice things to you or spent a lot of time with you, and you might feel like you owe them a little something because, maybe especially for an elderly person, maybe people don't come around as much as they used to, or maybe there's not as many conversations as there used to be. So one of the things you want to watch out for are big problems and also big rewards. Of course, the Nigerian guy who says that you've inherited a large sum of money because your Nigerian ancestors, who you could never figure out fine, but they passed away. And there's a huge inheritance, and all they need is your bank account information to transfer the money to your bank account. We don't want any money from you. We just need your routing number and your checking account number so that we can send this money to your bank account. Well, of course, once they have those numbers, they'll just use that to debit your bank account. But a lot of people don't think that it works that easily, but it actually does. Number two, what if there's a situation where you're told, I just need you to send me a money pack or an Amazon gift card or something like that. I detailed in the last segment, a woman from my local Papillion Hy-Vee got scammed for $6,000. Oh wait, no, it wasn't the Papillion one. I don't want to diss the employees there, but it was a Hy-Vee. They told me it was not Papillion, but I heard about it at the Papillion Hy-Vee. That got scammed for $6,000 in Amazon gift cards, and she sent the numbers off to the scammer, and the scammer took the numbers, of course, used them in his Amazon account, ship the goods to some third-party mule somewhere else so it's not traceable back to them. And then by the time this person figures out they got scammed, what are they supposed to do? The gift cards are used up. So anytime somebody involves something like a gift card or anything like that, that's a huge sign of a scam. 888-250-2091 and, of course, 402-558-1110. I mentioned Sophos briefly in that last segment about the things that we do with Sophos to try to keep you safe and prevent you from getting scammed. That is just the tip of the iceberg of what Sophos does, guys. Sophos is an AI-based antivirus product. It is not solely definition-based like your Norton is or your McAfee or your Bitdefender. Those are definition-based antivirus programs. They worked great in 2012. They do not work against modern AI viruses. The days are numbered. That's why you see ads on late night television for Norton with LifeLock now. I mean, they're the new Happy Days dads selling porcelain figurines at night and telling you can get rich because their stuff just doesn't work the way it used to because the threats have changed. One of the ways that bad guys are getting into your computer also is by giving you either fake updates for the software that you have on your computer or conversely taking advantage of unpatched third-party software. So this is like if your LibreOffice is a version behind, if your Adobe Reader is a version behind, if your Zoom is out of date. They don't put out updates because they're bored on a Tuesday night. They put out updates because there was a security vulnerability and they're patching that vulnerability. They're making it safe for you to continue to use the software. But if you don't choose to install the patches, you're not going to ever be safe. Now, some of these patches do automatically install eventually, but do you really want to wait 14 days, up to 14 days, for Adobe to decide to patch its software or for Google to download the latest version of Chrome? Or would you rather have it within 8 hours of release? There's a partner application that we make called Secure Updater that we recommend along with Sophos. You should have them both together. Sophos keeps you safe from the initial intrusion in the computer. Secure Updater keeps you safe in case something gets through, which doesn't happen, but in case something would ever get through, Secure Updater makes sure that you have all the patches that you need for that third-party software that doesn't automatically patch itself as quickly as we would like. So think about getting them both together as a pair. You can get a free trial of Secure Updater. If you've never tried it before, go over to secureupdater.com and you can knock out a free trial there. We don't even ask you for a credit card. So you can get the free trial, try it out. If you like it, you'll buy it. If you don't like it, then you won't buy it. And that's just how life is. 888-250-2091, 402-558-1110. We're going to take our final break of the program, guys. When we come back, Hal, your call is coming up next on Compute This.
Today's fragile computers need maintenance more than ever. Your computer needs a maintenance checkup every 6 months to last beyond its 18-month expected lifespan. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Schrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Schrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you need for all of your needs, and all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. Fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Schrock Innovations. It's what we do. Compute This pro tip number 753. Have you ever wondered how the bad guys always seem to find a way into your computer? Gone are the good old days of email worms and I love you viruses. Nobody wants to steal your data anymore, or in many cases even your identity. Today's cyber criminals want to sell access to your computer or hold your data for ransom. The bad guys are exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities to break into systems that are supposed to be hack-proof. These vulnerabilities are always newly discovered, and the criminals have a brief time to exploit them before they get patched. Antivirus and firewalls do not prevent these attacks, but you can minimize your computer's exposure by installing all security patches as quickly as possible. The average computer needs 12 patches a week. That's not including the ones that are automatically delivered to your computer. Boost your cybersecurity by staying on top of it manually, or use a patch installation program like Secure Updater to get your computer the patches it needs. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, thanks for sticking with us through the show today. I appreciate you joining us for the full hour. As I mentioned earlier in the program, this week and next week, no aftershocks, okay? This week I got a Mother's Day thing. Next week we got family vacation, so no aftershocks. But then after that, I promise I will give you a really long one, okay? So thank you for sticking with us there. 888-250-2091. Jumping into Facebook, Ron writes, Thor, I've heard stories about AI learning on its own. Is this true or not? If it is true, that's where the real problem is. Well, you know, Ron, one of the things, AI learning, AI has to be able to learn in order to do its job. So the short answer to your question is yes. The complex answer is kind of. So AI, for example, when you have a conversation with ChatGPT, and you give it parameters for the conversation. So I would like you to write an essay. Okay, it knows what an essay is. I'd like the essay to be X number of words. It knows what that is. I'd like the topic of the essay to be this. It knows what to research. Now, it'll look back to previous conversations it's had with you to determine what kind of requests you've made in the past and try to tailor the results of that essay to meet those requirements. So it does learn. The more you interact with AI, the more it learns how to interact with you. And so there is some learning aspect there, but if you're saying learning as in like, I'm going to write a 500-word essay on how to end the world in a nuclear Armageddon, and then I'm going to apply that, it doesn't learn quite like that. And there are some actual hard-coded guardrails in place as well that famously the hackers try to get around to make AI say stupid stuff. So we're not quite worried about Skynet yet. Maybe, I don't think maybe in the next 10 years, it wouldn't even be a potential problem. But the whole idea of taking a 6-month pause in AI development, it's not going to work. You cannot pause technology because not everybody is going to pause. China's not going to pause. And do we really want China to get a leg up in the industry? We're trying to restrict the type and the quality of microchips that China gets, so that our AIs can maintain a superiority edge over their AIs. I mean, maybe they just put up more chips in another coal-fired plant. We're going to save the planet. It'll work out. 888-250-2091. Hal, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
I got a question about what you were saying about Sophos a few minutes ago. Will it block telehealth type?
No. It won't block that kind of stuff. So what we're talking about when I say remote access, what I mean is somebody taking remote control of your computer. So it's going to block TeamViewer. It's going to block GoToAssist. It's going to block everything except the Schrock desk. And if you get into a situation where you want someone to remote into the computer, where there's a legit reason for it, if you give us a call, we can temporarily turn off that feature to allow you to be able to do those things. But no, it won't block any kind of video conferencing or telehealth or anything like that.
All right. That's what I thought, but I wanted to be sure because I got one scheduled.
Yeah, that's a rough thing to figure out in the moment. Thanks for the call, Hal. I appreciate you joining us on the program today. Larry, welcome to the show. How can I help you on Compute This?
Yeah, hi, Thor.
Hello.
Hey, was iYogi support a scam back in the day? I used to use iYogi support, and I was wondering, it did get problems settled, but it was a big hassle.
I had customers that used iYogi. Now I'm trying to go to their website here, and it looks like their secure socket layer is expired. It looks like they may be kind of defunct. I'm not sure. I don't want to. I guess I shouldn't say that without knowing. But usually, when a company lets their secure socket layer expire, that's a sign that they're not paying attention. And their copyright on the bottom of their page is 2016. So it might have been that they've gone the way of the dodo. But no, support.com is another one that's very much like iYogi. They provide, it's almost like a Schrock desk, but it's a Schrock desk without the relationship. They don't know you. They don't know anything about you. You're a problem. You're a nail, and they're a hammer, and they're going to fix the problem. And so sometimes that's what you want in your tech guy. You just want the problem to go away. And sometimes those people can cause more problems because they don't understand the nuances of what you're trying to do with the computer, which is kind of where our Schrock desk comes in, Larry, because it's kind of like iYogi. It's $30 a month for unlimited support. You also get half off of anything in the shop, labor services in the shop, so maintenance checkups, hours of labor, on-sites. You get half off of all that. So you save you actually come out ahead sometimes on the Schrock desk on a yearly basis.
Well, the only thing I have is an Apple laptop. So,
gotcha. So yeah, I mean, if you had tech issues and you wanted to maintain a subscription to something like iYogi, it's not a bad idea, but I'm not sure. I think that the iYogi thing may have been legit at the time, but I'm not so sure it is anymore.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I don't have many problems with my Apple, but Apple support usually fixes them right up.
Sounds like a plan. Well, if it comes to the point where you're ready for us to speed that sucker up for you, let us know, and we'll be happy to speed up that Apple for you. We got some good tricks up our sleeve for those older Apple computers to make them sing again. Thanks for the call, Larry. I appreciate you joining us on the show today. Today's winner, $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate, is Greg. Congratulations, Greg. We'll get a hold of you here tomorrow morning to get that into your Schrock account. You can use it toward anything your heart desires over at the service centers. Now, next week, we will have another show for you. Just no After Schrock. There will be a show, but no After Schrock. So stay tuned for that one. Want to wish all the moms out there happy Mother's Day. Thank you for everything that you do. We all appreciate it, even though we don't tell you nearly enough. We'll see you all again next weekend for another exciting edition of Compute This.
From the Amish Furniture of Nebraska studio, your home for